Hello friends, you're with a Lonesome Gamer and I'm playing 1837. So now we come into a phase of the game where, well, I would say the starting part is now over. We will see pretty soon the first rusting event. So when the first 4 train is purchased, which is, by the way, also the first permanent train, then all the 2s will go away, and then we'll probably also see the 3G getting purchased, which will then destroy all the 1Gs. And then a lot of these minor companies, and they're simply in the coal mines, they are then no longer profitable. We will also see when the first 4 is purchased, the merger of these orange miners into the Southern Railroad. That is mandatory at that point. And also the brown miners may merge. I think this is optional at that point. They may merge into the Imperial Royal Austrian State Railways. So there's a couple of things to consider here. Some of the miners will disappear. It is possible for the owners to either throw them voluntarily into the respective major companies, or when these shares are sold out of a given company, then the mining companies have to go, or the coal companies, it's mandatory to give them up. So I just want to talk quickly about the formation of the Southern, because when the first 4 train is purchased, I already said that, the Southern will form, and at that point all the orange minor companies will go into the Southern. This is a little different with the other national railroads, because there the other players may keep their miners a little bit longer, but here this is not possible. And all the railroads will be exchanged for one single 10% share. These are all 10% shares of the national railroad. And then the guy who holds the most shares becomes the new director. In case of a tie, the player who owned the lowest numbered company of the ones that merged, so in this case the 1, he becomes the new director. So that means if there would be the merger right now, this guy would be the director. And he would also own 20%. So now players could prepare for that, because the shares are already available. It is possible, actually from the start of the game, it was possible to buy these shares. So now this guy could buy a share, and then he had 30% at the moment of the merger, and then he would be the president of the Southern. So this is something we have to keep in mind during the upcoming stock round. Players want to start the remaining companies. I assume we have 3 companies left. The Bosnia-Herzegovina, which is probably for him, he already owns the Bosna-Bahn. And I assume this guy will also start one of the others, and so will this. He's last, so there's probably not much left for him there. And then we'll see how they will invest in major companies, or in possible national shares and so on. Okay, there's one issue when it comes to buying these shares. They are super expensive. This thing costs $142. I mean, this is just crazy, you know. I can buy, and the problem is that this company will definitely not run in the first OR. So it will pay out only partly, and it might not even be terribly good, because right now there's only one train in there. If this thing should form, all the 2 trains are destroyed, which means it only has a single 3 train. So it will not run at all during the first operating round. It will make some money in the second operating round, but not a lot, just 1 train. And then it will make good money probably in the third operating round. But I really don't think that I want to pay $142 for a single share when I can buy 2 shares that basically pay all 3 ORs for the same amount. So I don't see that happening. I have right now 2 shares here of the Bohemian Commercial Railway, and honestly, I think I want to keep them for now. I was a bit afraid, and I thought, okay, I'm in first, you know, in priority order. I can sell them now, but there's a lot of cash in here, $200. There's all this money over here, $400, even nearly 500. So I mean, this is a super rich railroad, and at the moment, at least, I don't really see a reason to sell this stuff. Maybe later I might sell one or both, depending on what's going on here. But at the moment, it seems like it's safe. So I'm going to start the Bosnia, and I probably started fairly high. Got to check my... the limit is 21. Okay, I mean, this is not an issue at the moment. I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 shares. Okay, I don't have to... Well, actually, it's interesting. If I would buy only cheap shares, I would be already at the limit. But, yeah, that's not something I'm going to do. I'm going to go for the Bosnia. Something of these upper 3 options. Okay, so this guy started the Bosnia for 104, the highest possible value. And this player started the Tisha Railway, which has its starting location right in the center, also for 104. So nobody else can start at 104 now. This is a problem for the Galician Transverse Railway that would start here. Because, let's say this player starts this one. These guys will operate before, and he can simply place a token here, and then I'm in trouble. You know, I am already cut off. So this is not an attractive company at all, in my opinion. And I came to I think what I'm going to do is I will actually spend money for shares of the Southern Railway. I am the richest player. I got a lot of cash, and I can afford a couple of shares of the Southern. So this is something I'm going to do here. I have one minor, the North Tyrolean Railway. So I need at least 2 more shares to get the new president. But I'm thinking actually about buying even more and maybe investing in some others. And then, you know, I'm just sitting on my Bohemian, and maybe I can control the Southern. And this isn't so bad. It's better than having some crappy company at the edge of the map. That's at least my opinion. So I'm going to buy this share for 142. This guy, he's going to start the Galician. For him, it's okay. He has the Transylvanian and he also has the CKB. They both can help building a route north, and it's just 4 hexes, right? So we basically got 3 actions, so we can easily do this within the first 2 ORs, and then it's just okay. It's totally fine. And if I have a connection to this thing here, I can actually lay a token here. And that brings me into a really good position. I'm connected to Budapest, it's all fine. I don't have to worry anymore. And that's the big difference. And therefore, for him, this is a fine company. For this guy, it isn't, because he has now nobody to help him here. So I think I'm going to go with that. And I'm start at 97. What's interesting about this company is there are no exchange shares. So I will get my full revenue, $970. But of course, I won't get any. I won't get anything from any kind of miners. But that's still a solid. So we're at the end of a pretty, maybe not exciting, but definitely an operating round where a lot of things happened, or a stock round. And you can see now, luckily, already a few of the coal companies did disappear because 3 companies were sold out. So that means this guy lost 2 coal companies. He ended up with an exchange share of the Moravian Silesian, and it was an exchange there of the Bohemian. So, and this guy also lost 1. So basically the EPP is gone, the RGTE, the EOD, and the EKT, they are all gone, and also the ZKB, which is something that he actually had forgotten about, because that will make it a little bit harder for him to build this connection here. Now he only has basically the Transylvanian that can help, so it might take a little bit longer than I was hoping. And I also have to lay this tile to get a connection to Budapest, so it's not quite as great, but okay. You can see here some companies ended up with a ton of money. I mean, there's about, I don't even know, man, this is 400, 500, 600. I guess there are about $700 in here. And about 500 were added from the ZKB. We have here in the Bohemian, we have also this is about 450 or so. That's about 600, maybe more. The Moravian has now about 550 or so. So there's a lot of fresh money in these companies. In addition to that, we now have, of course, the new companies, the Galician, which was floated. They have now $970. There's no, I already mentioned that, there's no exchange shares, so they get really 10 times the par value. The Bosnia-Herzegovina with 1 exchange share ended up with kind of like 936. And the Tisha with 2 exchange shares have 832, it seems. Okay. Also, a couple of companies are sold out, so the value moves up, and that is weird because, the natural thing to do would be to move up the value like this, at least for me, but instead the value moved up like that. And this is really easy to miss. But I already mentioned it, if the directors have more than 40%, it goes left. If they have less than 40% or equal, it goes right up. Okay, so this guy should become a director. That means if he does not buy an additional share, he sits on 40%, then it would actually go up right. Okay, so here the MLB, they're trying to build now slowly around this dot here, and there is now $225 in the company. And until the first 3+1 train is purchased, so the next train would be the 3+1, I have a train limit of 2. So that gives me right now the option to buy 1 train over. And I'm thinking about buying the 1G train. I think it will not run anymore anyway, so I'm gonna buy that train over, get the money in here, $200 more for this company, which is now sitting, I don't know, on $900. That's crazy. And I might then in the next OR, when these 1G trains rust, I might simply exchange this for a share of the Karl Ludwig. I could do that. There's of course the risk that the company will then get dumped on me, so I gotta be careful about that, but it is definitely an option. Okay. So not too much is happening. There are only 4 coal mines, or my coal railroads operating, and well, they made their money. We managed to build around this thing. The EHS, I mean, they had a very strong run the turn before, but now it has become much less. They do not get 2 stations and two cities anymore, and they also lose the 20 here. So they basically lost $50 for their run. It's not terribly good anymore. Apart from that, I shuffled trains here between the coal companies. So now all the money is in the EHS, 300. And my goal is clearly to get this probably somehow in the Bohemian. Just have to do that in a way that I do not lose too much money, right? If I would have bought, for example, the 2G train over, I would not have had a run with the Bohemian at all. I don't want that. So I'm not quite sure how I can orchestrate this. I might have to lose a run with the EHS. Maybe I'm gonna buy the 2G train over, or I don't know really. Or maybe I can buy, if I have the time to buy one of the 1G trains into here and then buy that train over again. But I think that's not gonna happen because, because the ones will probably not run anymore. They're gonna go away. The first 4 train is purchased. I don't know, it's tricky. I don't know when the first 3G is purchased, but anyway, I gotta find a way to do this without making too much losses. If it's really wrong, maybe I just have to give it away, but I don't want that. $300 is a lot of money, and I want that in my company. This guy decided against shuffling trains to get these bucks into his company. The reason is he would have lost a lot of money, and yeah, so he thought, okay, whatever. And it's not that much. I mean, it's now about, it's 250 that he's gonna lose, but yeah, he would have lost quite a lot of money. And over here, it's a similar situation. What he's actually doing is he decided to simply burn the money. He's gonna build here, for example, for $70, so that that this money simply goes away, and that the owner of of the Southern Railway will not profit from that. So this is definitely an aspect which is interesting about the game. If you know when these companies fall, I mean, you know that, and once you played the game and you get a bit of a feeling for it, when you understand the pace of the game and a little bit the timing of when the companies will merge, and you start to transfer all the money, you start to shuffle all the trains, try to improve your position. And that's really fun. I like these kind of things. So for example, also now the 3, they had their 2G train. They had a really strong run, I think 140 or something. And no, it was actually 180. So they had $90 in here. They immediately purchased the 2 train from the North Tyrol Railway, which now holds also kind of like $250. And you know, just in preparation of that merger of the Southern Railway, which I will control then. These maneuvers, they're simply fun. I like that. So it's kind of cool. Okay, so we're pretty much done with all the coal railroads and all the minor railroads. I managed to get enough money into the Pest-Szeged Railway to buy a 3+1. So I'm gonna do that because this is exactly the train I need to run from Budapest to Wien. It's exactly the 3+1. So there we go. Oops. Okay, and that changes things. I believe we now have a train limit of... Why is there... Something happened here. Gotta check that. No, here. That is weird. So these guys still have a train limit of 2, it seems. Oh, that is pretty awesome. I didn't realize that. But it doesn't help them because the 2s will go away anyway. But these, most other companies now only have a train limit of 1. Yeah, here. Oh, it's actually it's a 3+1, exactly. So here, all the coal mines go down to a train limit of 1. And it seems that most of the miners, all of them actually, except for the Hungarian. Interesting. Okay, what about these? Yeah, the Hungarian keeps the train limit of 2, but all the others go down to 1. And of course not the majors. Okay, so now we're done with all the miners and we come now to the major companies. We start with a new one, the Bosnia-Herzegovina, down here in Sarajevo. And I want to lay a tile like this. And my goal is then to connect here. I'm pretty sure I can do that. And then I can lay a token here. So I'm hoping for that. And the question is now, how many trains do I want to buy? Okay, let's see. So the 3+1, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much... I could shuffle around, but I don't know. I mean, this is pretty much mandatory. If I don't want to lose a run or something, I have to buy the 3+1, which is painful. It's the last non-permanent train, right? I mean, you don't really want to do that, but yeah, it feels like it's basically necessary. I think I'm only gonna buy the 280, the 3+1. The reason is basically I want a G train, right? I'm located next to this area where there's lots of tokens, and I wanna get some advantage out of that. I guess. On the other hand, you know, if I manage to get a token in here, I might be able to run a 3+1 and a 4 train in a really reasonable way. Maybe that's not such a bad choice. Interesting. So there are definitely reasons to do it or not. As I said, on the one hand, I think I can run both trains. I would have a permanent train, but the problems are I have a bad permanent train. It's the worst permanent train possible, and I will unlock the 3 train for other companies, right? They could immediately buy the 3 train, and my chances to get one are very, very low. So I think I'm going to roll a die once again. On a 1 to 4, I'm going to buy both trains, the 3+1 and the 4. Okay, so I'm going to do it. So it's 280, that's 670, 750. That's a lot of money, but okay. So this is now a big phase change. So we purchased the first 4 trains. Let's see. There we go. We have now the 4 trains, and we have 2 3G trains available. Only 2 of them. And afterward, I think there is an unlimited number of 4 trains, but I'm not sure. I gotta check that. But there's only 2 3G trains. Maybe there's actually, I don't know how many 4G trains are available. I gotta check that. Then Italy, well, first all the 2 trains rust. That's also a big thing now. Not the 1Gs, not yet. Well, that will happen soon. But all the 2 trains go away. Got lots of them. Okay, there we are. Then Italy is now off limits. So these 2 tiles are removed. The token goes away. And Italy is now an off-board location. Or it's basically simply off-board. So this one here, Bozen, is now exchanged, and it gets this tile here. Ugh. This special, come on, this special Bozen tile. So that is now placed here. Okay. So the last big thing that happens is now the formation of the Southern Railway. And this is not optional. So it immediately happens once the 4 train is purchased. So that means we got to find all these exchange shares here. There we go. Got to find the sheet. Oh, good lord, which is somewhere up there. There we are. Okay. And that's going to go here. And now simply all the miners will be exchanged for one 10% share. This guy will then have 40%, while these 2 players only have 20. So that means I'll be the director of the newly formed Southern. And of course, all the assets So all the cash and the 3 train here will fall into the Southern Railway. So this is now the status of the Southern Railroad. They have $600 from the other railroads, especially from the North Tyrol Railway, which was controlled by this player here. He managed to get a lot of money into this company. But in addition to that, the company receives at the start $710. So that's crazy. I mean, that means they're sitting now here on $1,314. And they have a 3 train. I mean, the 3 train isn't that great, but it gives them a first run, and that's pretty good, right? So they don't lose in share value. So all the tokens have been replaced now by tokens of the Southern, and there's going to be 1 token left here that the company can place on the board, and the starting value is 142. The company is not allowed to operate during this OR, not in the same OR when it formed, but they can operate in the next OR, of course, just like a regular company. So the owner of the Tisha Railway, he actually made a deal with the guy from the Galician, and they both decided not to lay a token up here in, what is that? Lemberg. So that's in both players' interest. He saves the money for the token, and he might get a chance to lay a token more in the south later in the game. And this guy is not cut off, so for him it's perfect. So yeah, and then I gotta see. You know, I think I might be interested in somehow getting out here. So I think I need a tile like that, or is it the other one? I would need, that one is already gone, it seems. Yeah, I would have needed this one, it seems. That kind of sucks. I want to get access to this area down here, but it seems I have to upgrade this tile first and then kind of cut through here, because, you know, or I need a brown tile or something, but it seems like right now there's no way for me to get to do anything here. So I think I'm just going to buy the train. I'm going to buy a 3G, and that is a permanent one, which is great. And I cannot afford another one, so yeah, I'm just gonna get that 3G train, and that's it for the Tisha. And of course, they couldn't pay. So now the Galician is operating, and he still wants to continue his plan and also kind of try to make a connection here. Well, actually, you know what? I just realized one thing here. What I can do now that I'm not blocked, I can actually... I could place a tile like that, and then I could immediately place a token there. Is that a good idea? Maybe. I think it's actually not bad. I think it's pretty awesome. I'm gonna do this. So, yeah, that's the plan. So we're gonna place a tile here. There we go. And now I'm connected. And that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So $100. And that's what I'm gonna pay. And I'm pretty sure this is gonna be a great token. You know, eventually I might be able to make a connection somehow here. These two cities will connect in brown. And I'm pretty sure I can run a really good coal mine, a really good route with a coal train. And maybe I can even get a connection to Budapest somehow. I will, and maybe I can run the connection. So I think that is a great idea. I'm going to spend $100. No, wait a minute, that's the wrong company. There we go, $100 to place that token. Right there. I mean, at the moment, it's not that great. But yeah, once we go to brown, and also, as I said, I can connect to this one here. This will all give me, I think, a much better position. And now the question is, what do I want to buy? I have to buy a G train. I think that is no question. I got to buy that second 3G train. They're just so good. So for $600 or for $590, I'm going to get that one. Okay, I got about $300 left here. And now there are no more G trains out there, right? I mean, for the moment, only the 4G trains, and they are indeed unlimited. I checked it, but they will be unlocked when the first 5 is purchased, and that will actually take a while. So some companies might not be in the best position. And by the way, we have now the 3G train purchased, which means all the 1G trains are now going away. Okay, there's one more thing that should have actually happened when the first 4 train was purchased. And that's an interesting one. And I'm actually, it kind of sucks because it means I have to maybe undo a couple of things, but I'm not sure about it. The Kaiser Ferdinand Railway can start. This is not mandatory, but the owner of the Kaiser Ferdinand Railway has the option to exchange it or to start it. And that would mean, just a second. So I could open it now. It must open when the first 4+1 is purchased. And the other players may keep their miners also until the first 4+1 train is purchased. But still, the Kaiser Ferdinand could open. I could exchange the 1 for a share, and then I would get $840 under my control. That's pretty awesome. And the thing is, it would not have changed anything. I thought I could have purchased then trains or something, but the company would not have operated until the next turn. So, you know, because the company has a 2G train, I think actually I'm not going to exchange it for a share. I'm going to make much more money. I'm going to make 50% now of that company. And otherwise, I'm just gonna make 10%. So I'm gonna not open this one, and instead I'm gonna wait. Now it's the Transylvanian. They got a 2G and a 3 train. And they're gonna run, I think, for a lot of money. So the 2G runs from this mine down to here, and the 3 can run from here to Budapest. So let's see, 40, 50, 60, 90, 120, 150, 200 bucks. That's that might have been the best run up to now. Yeah, pretty sure about that. Okay, so that's 200 bucks, and I'm gonna pay that out, I guess. Yeah, no question here. I got 6 shares, so that's 120. Thought about buying another train. I have a lot of cash sitting here, 750 bucks. But honestly, I don't see a reason to do that right now. I cannot run another train, right? And I also have no reasonable place for a token, so I cannot expand my route. I need brown. I need a connection here, for example, into this northern area, or I need a connection to Budapest. So the option to run to place a token there or run through that. But right now, there's nothing I can do. So I'm not going to buy a train. But I paid out, made some solid money here. And now we see the Moravian. They're still sitting on a single 3 train. It's a little odd. These early companies, the Moravian, the Bohemian, they just only have one single train. It's a strange development here. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna, yeah, they need more now. So I'm still, still trying to get somehow to Budapest, still working on that connection. So I gotta spend 50 bucks now. And that allows me to place an X. So the question is, how do we want to do this? Do we want to do it like this and kind of skip this city? Well, it probably doesn't matter. Yeah, I think I'm going to place it like that. I can simply upgrade the city and then either place a token here, or I can build around here, spend another 50 bucks. Not sure. But, you know, the question is now, do I want to place a token here? This is going to be a very important point for me. I could also place a token up here, which would be helpful if I want to run coal trains. But you know, I think I can do this later. Right now, there's no competition there in the north. Eventually the KK might show up there, but right now we're okay. So I think, but there's also no competition here. The Hungarian, unlikely. They will not start that soon. Okay, so there is another interesting aspect. If I decide to lay a token, let's say here and here, I want to lay the first token there because that costs me 20 per hex, and the second token I want to lay here because that costs me 40 per hex. So in other games it doesn't matter because you always pay the same amount of money for each token, but here it actually makes a huge difference, right? That token would cost me 160 bucks here, the second one, and here it only costs me 80. So this is that makes a lot of sense. But that's the question. Do I want to lay these two tokens at all? What do I want to do? It's very hard to say for me. Do I want to buy the 4 train? Do I want to save my money and go for a 4G train? But that will take a bit. I'm at close to 600 and there's possibly no money coming in. I don't think that any one of the coal companies will bring me cash. Actually, no, they won't. They are all in there already. So this is all I have. I really think I have to buy that 4 train. I cannot wait forever, and yeah, I'm gonna go with it. I only have a 3 train, that's really poor, and I cannot go forever with that 3 train. Actually, I ran for 11 bucks. I forgot about that. So I'm not gonna lay a token at that point, I guess, and I'm simply gonna run for 11 bucks, buy a 4 train. It's not great. I would love to have a G train and kind of exploit all these coal mines in the north, or at least, yeah, just, you know, all these dots here. There are great routes for G trains. But yeah, it's, you know, the next one is far away. When it comes to the financial aspects, but also when it comes to the time. Someone has to unlock this thing first. You know what? I'm actually seriously considering dumping this company here. I could buy, for example, a second 4 train with the Bosnia, and then simply leave the 3 train in here and dump the company on this guy. He's sitting here with 3 shares. That looks like it could be an interesting choice. Simply because this is not really going anywhere. I mean, okay, eventually the Hungarian will start and I will have control over that. And maybe that gives me an option to somehow fiddle a train into that one, a G train. But I mean, it's $1,000, you know. The Hungarian also could use a G train very well. So I really don't think that this is so reasonable. It looks for me a lot like I'm going to dump this company onto this guy. I have my Bosnia and I have then 3 trains in that one, which is amazing. I don't know if I cannot run them all, but it's still. And then I have if I buy shares of the Hungarian, I'm going to be in a really good shape. So I think this might be what I'm aiming for. This company, I don't know, somehow it doesn't work out. The timing with the trains was all wrong. I have no G trains. It all kind of sucks. It's a good move for the Bohemian. They will upgrade the X. Let me see. Yeah, there. They will upgrade this. And now they're gonna be the ones to place a token after the Moravian was hesitating. So I'm not quite sure if I want to place one here or here, but I think here is better. That secures me the access to Wien, and if someone blocks me out here, I can still build around here. So I want to place a token that's not going to be cheap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's $120. But it's a great token, and I have a lot of cash, so I want that thing. I think that's worth it. Okay. Yeah, so let's throw a token here. And now I can run my 2G train in this area, which is also great. And then I'm going to buy me a 4 train, which will then allow me to run this route here, which is super awesome. That looks quite promising. Of course, eventually the problem is the 2G train will go away. Do I have a chance to get a better train in here? I don't know. It's hard to say. I control the southern, which might give me some options. There's a lot of money here. And if I get this money in here, okay, so that means basically I also have to buy the 2G train from here to here to make that purchase possible, because they are at a train limit of 1, so that means they can only buy a train if they have none. So yeah, I gotta shuffle trains around here. But we still have a train limit of 3, so I can do that. So I'm gonna run for, I don't know, kind of like 10, 20, 60, 70, 80, 140, which is excellent. The company will get $30 for the mine. I'm going to pay that out. With a single train, it's really a good run. I mean, there are players who run for 200, but with a single train, 140 is very good. Fantastic position. They have really 2 strong tokens. They have still $350 in here, and they're gonna receive another 300 from here. So they are sitting on close to $700. Already have a permanent train. If they do a good swallow, they can then afford one of these 4G trains, for example. So that is very, very strong. I might also considering swallowing half or something. So I'm really doing excellent here. And of course there is still cash in here like crazy, which I might also use to bring additional money into the company. So it looks like everything is under control here. I don't have necessarily the most cash at the moment because these shares didn't give me any income, but I'm also not doing so bad. Maybe I do have actually the most money because I held all these companies here that while the others don't have any of these coal mines anymore. So this player is really doing very well at the moment. Okay, and I paid out obviously, and this is the end of this operating round. And I'm gonna load up here. I'm gonna load this up. I think it's really interesting now. This is a slow game, and there is, it's not about, I don't know, it's not about massive train rushes and stock trashing and all these things. But it is this slow, clever development, especially when it comes to on the one hand, the route building, but also when it comes to all these miners, how they fall into the bigger ones, doing, timing this the right way, shuffling trains, getting the money into under your control, these kind of things. And this is actually really interesting. I enjoy that quite a bit. But, it seems now that he has everything under control, but I see it happen that the Moravian will get dumped on him, and then we'll see how he can deal with that. that could bring him into a bit of a tricky position.